How we doing? What's going on? Welcome back. It's good to see ya. What's up, guys? Do me a favor, hit the like button. Welcome to the Combat Footage Funker I'm Ronnie show. I don't know. Hit the like button and drop in the chat. Let me know you're here. Just do me a favor. Today's an exciting day. I need everybody to show up and just let me know where you're chiming in from. All right? It's an exciting day. Let's talk about it. How we doing? You want shorts? Here's some shorts for you. How about those? Let's get started. Oh, it's good to see you. I got hairs cut. I had, thanks for the day off, boss. I appreciate it very much. Guys, today's a very exciting day. All right. A really big deal for us as a small team. Drop in the chat. Let me know that you're here because today we're officially announcing that our Pro Premium account, and this is a big deal for us. It might not seem like it to you, but I'll explain here in just a second. The Pro and Premium accounts are now available. That is our ad-free viewing experience on the app and on the website. This has been a long time coming, and it's because of you guys' support that we're able to finally launch this, and I can't tell you how excited we are for it. There's been a ton of support already without us even talking about it. People just browsing the site found it. If you're a member here on YouTube, what we're going to be asking is that you guys consider moving that membership over to the app and website. And the reason is very simple. Google's taking 30% of your money here. They're taking 30% of your support to us, to our platform, to our small team of 5 dudes, right? We're a very small team of folks. So consider, especially if you're already a member here on YouTube, move that membership over to the app because 100% of that comes back to us, comes back to the team, goes into development, goes into making sure that we can continue to innovate and figure new shit out. Let me just put it that way. Let's talk a little bit about the perks, though. Obviously, you're going to get ad-free viewing experience. You're going to get special badges, just like you would on most other platforms. One of the things that you're also going to be getting, a lot of you are familiar with discount codes and things like that. Since you won't be seeing the ads, you're still going to get the opportunities for those, but even better discount codes that we're working with our partners like Armored Republic, ATN Optics, Arbor Arms, all of those good companies that we have that have been supporting us for such a long time are going to be providing that those same and even higher discounts to our premium members. So the way that you can do that, and I wanted to take a second to walk you guys through how to do this because it's super simple, super easy. Let me get logged in here. All right, check this out. You can click the pinned link up at the top. We're going to do that right now. Clicking that. That's going to take you to this page. You can sign up with, if you're on iOS, you'll be able to sign up with Apple Pay. You guys will be able to sign up with Google Pay. You'll also be able to use a credit card if you don't subscribe to either of those payment services. Got to restart Windows. Please go away. I don't feel like doing that. But let me show you how to get there if you're on the website. So from the website, and this is a big deal for us. This is all built in-house. We did not go to a third party and say, can you build us a support structure into the app? The entire web page, including this support, is all built in by us, by our team, right? Funker himself spends a lot of time making the web page look pretty, and I have dark mode on. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to log in. You can't see my stuff here. Bring it back up for a second. My username's Ronnie, just so you know. Good luck. Type in my password. You're going to go to your account if you'd like to sign up for it. Up here, click on Profile. And then right here at the top, and I'm not clicking that because it's going to burn my address and you can't have that. You're going to click on Funker530 Premium. It's going to take you right back to that page we were just looking at. And that's it. This is, again, we have been working on this for an insanely long time. And there were so many times that we thought we were ready to publish it. but there was a small bug here, a minor issue there, and you've got a team of essentially perfectionists, and we didn't want there to be too many bugs. Now, there's always going to be problems and challenges. We are absolutely burning the admin email here. If you guys run into a bug or a challenge, send an email to admin@funker530.com, because what we're going to do is monitor that for bugs over the course of the next month to 2 months. We're always monitoring that email, but we have a very specific focus on making sure that the pro and premium accounts work. Again, this is major for us. This gets us closer and closer to less reliance on social media from a support perspective. Our goal has always been, with the introduction of the website, then the introduction of the app, to slowly remove our reliance on big tech. That's what we're doing here. Thanks for listening to me. Once again, welcome back. Hit the like button. We got a lot that I want to talk about. That was really loud. That was a lot louder than I expected it to be. We got a lot to talk about. We're going to kick things right off, essentially talking about the next security aid package to Ukraine. It was announced on November 4th, and its sum total is approximately $400 million worth of security assistance. So let's take a look at that. And we're going to deep dive one of the interesting items that's on this list. We'll get to that when we do. Something important to remember, just like we talk about every time there is a new security assistance package, is the differentiation between presidential drawdown and the Ukraine Security Assistance Initiative. I am not saying on this show, nor have I ever really, that the provision of this equipment is good nor bad. I am providing you the data, what is going to be provided, and you take that information and you do with it what you'd like. This is coming from USAI, Ukraine Security Assistance Initiative, meaning effectively what the United States does is goes out and purchases this equipment on behalf of Ukraine, goes to industry, Raytheons, BAEs, Lockheed Martins, etc., so on and so forth, and takes out contracts for this stuff. There's a lot of refurbish in this. The very first two sets of items that we have here is refurbishing Hawk air defense missiles for inclusion in future presidential drawdown packages. So, paying attention very specifically to language here, presidential drawdown means that it's going to come from current stock. By the way, One Nation Coffee, awesome. 45 refurbished T-72B tanks with advanced optics, communications, and armor packages, 1,100 Phoenix Ghost tactical unmanned aerial systems, 40 armored Riverine boats, I bet those are dope, and 250 M1117 armored security vehicles. Now, if you're not military, typically MPs are the ones that are messing with these. You're probably wondering yourself, what the f*** is that? Well, it's actually kind of badass. If they are getting a very specific type, check the thumbnail of the M1117. Let's take a look at that. The M1117, with the 90mm Cockerill MkIII low-pressure cannon, has absolutely had sex before. That is a fine piece of equipment. Let's just put it that way. This thing is actually really cool. It doesn't come natively, the M1117, with the 90mm low-pressure cannon. Its actual normal armament includes like an M2 heavy barrel Browning, a Mk19 automatic grenade launcher, and a 240 Hotel, which is actually mounted near one of the hatches. But there was a single report that said these versions, these 250 M1117s that they're going to receive, includes the Cockerill 90mm low pressure cannon. Now, the low pressure cannon has the ability to fire, quite a few different types of rounds. High explosive anti-tank, HESH, high explosive squishy. I don't remember what the SH stands for, but essentially what it does is it's a high explosive payload that conforms to the target. When it hits, it smashes, spreads out that high explosive payload to distribute more of that force into whatever it's shooting. And it can also fire canister rounds. Canister, like a big-ass deadly shotgun. I got a video that I wanted to watch from Cockerill themselves. Cockerill. Check this out. Get to see the M1117 in action. Not yet. Here we go. Now, from an armor perspective, this is considered light armor. It's composite armor. It's lighter than the Stryker and the Bradley. It's about 15 tons versus 20 and 25 tons, respectively. And it would technically be kind of an in-between, relative to armor, between the Humvee and the Stryker itself. But, again, I'm not 100% certain. I only saw one report stating that this commando version is what Ukraine will receive, but it's a really cool looking piece of equipment. A lot of sex appeal coming off of that. Does it float? Yes and no. It is technically considered amphibious. It can ford up to 5 feet of water. So that technically puts it into the amphibious category. Getting BTR-4 vibes. And then let's go back and double check to make sure that we've covered everything. This is always pertinent to talk about, to discuss, to look at. Is this statement here. And I will answer the question. I saw a lot of questions. Where did the U.S. get T-72 tanks? They actually answer that right here. But let's first talk about this statement here. In total, the United States has now committed more than $18.9 billion in security assistance to Ukraine since the beginning of the Biden administration. Since 2014, the United States has committed more than $21 billion in security assistance to Ukraine. And more than 18.2 since the beginning of Russia's unprovoked and brutal invasion. What they state here essentially about the T-72Bs are a trilateral coordinated effort with Netherlands and the Czech Republic, right? So there's probably a host of these that are owned by the United States, a host that are owned by the Netherlands, a bunch by the Czech Republic that were either sent to one of those three nations for overhaul, for upgrades, and they'll then be provided. All right. Something that I also, and here's a link to this, guys, if you want to take a look at this. I'm going to give you a link. But something I also always really love to look at that they typically provide each time they do one of these is the fact sheet at the bottom. Because what this does is it really breaks down and I did a whole video based off of one of these. It breaks down every piece of equipment that's been provided to date. 1,400 Stingers, 8 NASAMs, or at least aligned against provision. Not necessarily in hand, right? Allocated might be a better word for it. 200 M113s, 250 M1117s, 440 Max Pros, 10,000 grenade launchers, 64 million rounds of small arms. So the fact sheet is typically included at the bottom of those DoD releases. And if you're ever just interested to see, hey, how many 155, precision-guided Excaliburs, this 3,500 precision-guided 155 artillery rounds, probably mostly Excaliburs. I don't know if those extended range, that wouldn't fit in there, but if you're ever wondering, that's where you can find that info. Checking in on the chat and on the support. Red Sea Dale, thanks for the $5. Hey, why does the app ask to have access to my mic and camera when I open it? Decline it. It doesn't need it. It's it's close to a bug. It's not fully a bug, but somebody else had that question in the comments as well. Just decline it. You don't need it. Yep. Boop. No. That's not us. That's Apple. Ron's hair's higher and tighter than should be legal. You know, my barber, his name's David, was very enthusiastic with the high fade that I asked for, to the point to where it almost doesn't even look like there was a fade. Whatever. It's all good. But I had an interesting reserve weekend. I finally pinned my WAC rank. That stupid thing. And in my brain, all I could see when I looked at it was ducks. Whack, whack, whack. But somebody said that the WAC sounds like the noise that Pac-Man makes. Walk, 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 walk. And now I can't get it out of my head. Hit the like button for me, and we're going to be jumping right into our footage. We've got a lot of footage coming out of the east. I'm going to check in on the chat, and we're going to hang out a little bit for just a minute. Bro hawk. No, it's blended on the other side. It's not quite a hawk. I've had a hawk before. I got fired from my dishwashing job one time because I had a mohawk. I did. Pac-Man is duck confirmed. Welcome in, guys. Can that gun penetrate T-72 armor? Yes. Theoretically, it would be able to. Jesus, Ronald. All right. This one's a banger. Let's get moving into our footage for the day. So we've got a lot of footage to get through. I don't know if we're going to be able to kind of go back and rehash and recover things. The only thing I'll probably recover as people continue to join is to check the pinned comment, check the stream description. There's a new way to support us that Google or Facebook doesn't take your money. It is Funker530 ad-free premium account. We'll talk about that in more detail towards the end of the stream again. But just do me a favor, at least go check it out. A lot of support to that already, even before we officially announced it. So thank you guys for doing that. The very first thing we're going to be looking at is some footage from Kherson. But before we get there, I actually wanted to spend some time in a campaign map because we haven't done that in a little while. So I'm going to put myself in the low right down in the corner. Wrong button. Right down there. There we go. So we haven't looked at a campaign map in a while. For a relative update, I break this stream down into really 4 sections relative to Ukraine. The east, Zaporizhzia, and then the south, right? Now, the east is really is definitely multi-front. You've got the Kreminna-Svatova front that is one of the most active. We're going to see a lot of footage from Bakhmut today. Very active and heavy fighting that we've had going on there. And we're seeing a little bit less footage coming tagged from Zaporizhzhia. But we're also going to see a few things coming out of the Kherson front, too. Now, the Kherson fight, in my mind, is going to be the next major fight. And I don't necessarily mean that from an all-out Duke Fest. This fight is actively happening now, and Ukraine is treating it very much so more from an attrition-type standpoint. Ukraine's HIMARS and precision-guided strikes that they're doing have been extremely effective in severing Russian supply lines. Down in Kherson, all of the strikes that they took last month on the Antonovsky Bridge, again, focused much more intently on a war of attrition here. Keeping Russia from being able to really mount a defense. Now, within Kherson itself, Russia is actively setting up for what would be considered, urban warfare. And Russia will have the absolute advantage in that case. Everything from booby trapping, which is standard. Anybody would do that. So when I say booby trapping, don't necessarily take that as, some kind of a dig, if you will. Everyone would do that. Everything from booby trapping to setting up funnels, redirecting, foot traffic to defensible areas. but they're also relocating civilians from Kherson Oblast, and they have been for the last month or so. Just to orient you a little bit to the map, obviously blue is going to be Ukrainian positions. Slanted blue areas here, that is what's noted to be partisan type activity, Wolverines type stuff. Oftentimes that's going to be, special operators or even just, pro-Ukrainian sympathizers. Something that's interesting is that you'll see a lot of that up here, very close to the front. Now, especially in Crimea, I noted the relative proximity of Ukrainian forces, and ISW's map is typically a few days behind, right? There are going to be Twitter OSINT accounts and things that are tracking this at a more minute level of detail, but we try to look at it from a 10, 20,000 foot level. It's very possible that this is, if there is partisan activity in Crimea, that it's very much so, soft-driven, infiltration type stuff, night raids, etc. So that's the way I break the stream down. I try to just stick with the east here, and then we have, and if we do have specific Zaporizhzia labeled footage, I'll call that out as well. But I'm willing to bet that the Kherson fight and Kherson front, as time goes on, is going to be ultimately the fight that really defines the next phase of this war. Kherson is the only provincial capital that Russia still holds on to. The only one, and actually the only one that they successfully took. They never actually successfully took Kharkiv. They never took Sumy, Chernihiv. Never, ever. It never took place. They bypassed it, trying to make their way to Kyiv. So the fight for Kherson is an extremely important one, and Ukraine has admitted that Russia's best troops, their most capable forces, are essentially establishing a new forward line in defense, or in preparation for defense of Kherson. Are we talking about my excellent pronunciation? Hi, I'm a professional. Whatever. I'm gonna turn some music back on. No problem with maps being days behind for OPSEC. Sure, absolutely. And in fact, ISW has actually made it pretty clear that one of the things that they don't do is there was another map out there that was attempting to align both Ukrainian and Russian units to specific locations. ISW has said, kind of openly, we don't intend to do that for either side, right? We will essentially establish some level of FLOT for you to see, forward line of troops, along with ground taken, and they report both directions. So the one thing that I didn't even mention here is the yellow areas. Let's take a look at that. So these yellow areas that you're looking at, that is claimed Russian advances. The blue areas are claimed Ukrainian counteroffensives. Right? I'm a big fan of ISW. You guys have heard me talk about ISW since the beginning of the war. They source their work. They provide it. So when you read something and it kind of catches you like, hold on a second, that might be careful not to step in that bullshit. You can actually go to the original source. Let's jump into our footage. We're going to be starting with Kherson. Now, this video is a little bit interesting. And I feel like if this were Chechens, we'd kind of be making fun of it. But this is somewhere along the Dnipro. The hell? Give me a second, guys. There we go. Somewhere along the Dnipro, but what we have is the Ukrainian National Police Safari Special Forces Unit, essentially a special capable unit within Ukraine's National Police, performing some form of maritime Operation or training? You guys let me know.
Well, exceeding some of the requirements out there very well. And
I've got something playing in the background. Let me figure out what's going on with that. Stand by. Ah. Figured it out. Here you go, full screen again. Hi from Dublin. Welcome in. Glad to see you back, Ryan. It's good to be back. Good to be here. Lance, thanks very much for becoming a member here. Appreciate that very much. Wonder how much they're making off the black market with that hardware. We're probably none, since they're holding it in their hands. I don't know. Have they started using the Cockerill yet? You know, somehow when I was doing, somehow I just absolutely knew that was gonna go in the best way sideways when I was doing the research on the Cockerill Mark III 90mm cannon. I just knew, I knew it, and you didn't disappoint. So thank you very much for that. Let's check our next one. So this is a compilation from the 61st Jager Infantry Brigade, the Ukrainian 61st Jager Infantry Brigade, with them using drones to hunt Russian armor. It's a pretty good one. It was translated by the good folks over at Wartranslated.com, doing the Lord's work.
Можливо, знайдемо нові цілі. Якщо знайдемо, артилерію підключать, будемо коригувати вогонь. Ну, рутина. Все стандартно.
робота.
Робота. Ще в червні це було якось новенько. Так, десь з тієї дороги вона виїжджала. Тільки де, блін, вона там стояла? Ні, не ця.
Ось тут.
What's up, chill kid? I see you.
Як я це люблю.
You're muted? No, I'm not.
Вам треба. Панорама.
Есть.
Yes!
Отлично. Вот это прямо... Вот это в нее. Вот это днюха. Можно отмечать.
Ну добре, що ми одразу драпана дали. Ну ми тільки залізли в Урал і касети прилетіли по позиції. Коротше, сьогодні нам пощастило. Двічі. Тричі. Знищили бетер. По нам промахнулись вогом.
Hey, Matthew.
І ми встигли втекти, коли позицію обстріляли касетами.
All right, coming back up. Something that you'll notice, and I paid for my account, is that we won't be experiencing any of the delays we have in the past while we waited for the ads to finish. That comes with that premium account. All right, that's everything that we had for Kherson. Everything that was tagged Kherson. So, you know, we are just the context that we're able to find is the context that we're able to find. Sometimes we're able to deep dive a little bit more in research. There's a lot of really awesome folks on Twitter doing, you know, geolocation type work, and we're able to dive in a little bit further, but sometimes we just can't find a location. That stuff is towards the end of the stream. But when we do have the context of a location, I try to pull that out. We're going to be moving into Kharkiv in the east, and we're going to spend a lot of time in Bakhmut. We're also going to be taking a look at Pavlika, but we're going to start with Bakhmut. This is Ukraine making contact with Russians somewhere in Bakhmut. Looks to be some kind of a suburb. Video is ready. Bam, that's fast, man.
Пускай дрон скажет. Нет, серьезно. Никто не стреляет. Тихо. Я пошел наверх, там лучше стреляю туда. Вот отсюда хуй видно, понял, куда стреляю? Дед, можно эту заменить, я наверх пойду? Вот там машина, видишь, по прямой, вот там этот боль стрелял, понял? Вот он за машиной прячется и вылазит вот так.
Isaac, congratulations. You just got extra points. I have no fucking idea what the extra points do, but the Saving Private Ryan reference was golden. Congrats. You win the internet.
О, бронебойные есть, нихуя себе. А, все бронебойные чисто подробно можно найти. Радость. Угу. Обидать валечку. Ну, первый прицельный всегда делается. Ну, я тоже так думаю.
If we do have prior service in the chat, veterans, let me know. Let me know. Where were you at? What was your job? What'd you do? Why'd they speed up the video? Probably because otherwise it wouldn't, you know, keep attention, to be honest with you. All right, coming back up. The next one was reported to be Ukrainian soldiers once again. I've got lots of Russia perspective footage coming up for us. Repelling somewhere in Donetsk. Don't exactly know where. Don't exactly know where. Words. Don't exactly know where in Donetsk, but repelling a Russian assault. That video is coming up for you guys right now.
Пидоры, сука! Пошли нахуй с моей посадки, пидоры, сука!
We've got Air Force in the chat, 11 Bravos, 12 Delta, 91 Mike, 88 Mike. Hell yeah.
Прикольно ответ. А? На.
24 Tango, Patriot missiles. It's pretty awesome.
Он куда-то попал?
Может, не попал. Сука.
Снайпер, блин. Проснулся снайпер, откуда не знаю, падла.
We've got some Aussies. Combat engineer.
Пидор.
Julian, thanks for the 10.
Я тут.
Dollaroos.
Ну.
All right, timeout.
Я...
Timeout. Hold the f on a minute. Now I'm not. If they're not actually called Dollaroos, I feel like you missed an opportunity. Okay? So from now on, I will always refer to Australian money as Dollaroos. Just like, you know, when Funker tells me something in Canadian money, it, you know, kind of reminds me of Monopoly money. I hope he's watching. Oh, man, I hope he's watching. Let's go back to the footage.
Говорил?
Согласен. Ёб твою мать! Вот это пизда была!
Ого.
Ooh.
Вон аргон. Я дальше снайпера бьют, он прямо над нами пиздует. Снайпера бьет оттуда. Аргон,
Я знаю, тут с 3 сторон ведут огонь. Сейчас будет бам. Сейчас будет бам. Это не по нам.
High explosive squash head. I knew I was close with the squishy. I knew I was close. Thanks, Danny.
Даю, даю. С пулемета чи що?
ну конечно.
And this is where the 50 cal starts to eat. Let her eat, boys!
Через поле чи що они? Спина.
Работает, молодец. А что масики нахуй? Масики не знаю. Давай, ебани уже. В этом-то и проблема.
That EOTech AK is making sexy eyes at me, though. What is the whistle? Rounds very close. Incoming.
Это я. Что это? Это я, нормально.
Рот наш чи ні?
А хуй знает.
А якщо не наш, давайте збивати. Наш, наверное, блядь.
А?
Is this real? Yes, it is. All right, coming back up. Coming back up. That one was wild. Guys, I got an update from Funker. I had to meet myself and go check the other PC. More than 50 in the last 10 minutes have signed up for premium accounts over on the Funker 530 app and website. Thank you guys for that. That's a huge deal for us. I just can't tell you how much I appreciate it. We're a very small team, and 100% of that goes back to our team rather than, you know, becoming members here, which of course we appreciate. But now we have a way for you to support us if you'd like to, and it all goes back to us rather than paying 30% to Google. So thank you. I'll be talking more about that here in just a little bit. I've got like a little break session on to show you how to do that. In the meantime, check the pinned comment above, and there's a link right at the top of the stream description tonight for that. It's been a long time coming for us, so like, holy shit. Oop, beep, beep, beep. Thank you. Let's get into our next one. We've got more Ukrainian POV footage coming from Bakhmut. And actually, I think, yeah, we just watched that one. We've got Russian perspective footage here of a Wagner tank assaulting a Ukrainian trench line. I should say multiple Wagner tanks. And please do hit the like button for us. Drop in the chat. Let us know you're here. Hitting the like button, dropping a comment. Those are the easiest ways to support us. Not everybody's in a monetary situation to support us, and we understand that. So one of the easiest and best ways to do that is just to engage in conversation. Keep it civil. Don't be a dickhead. Your First Amendment rights, if you're here in America, protect you from prosecution, not necessarily from getting your pee-pee slapped in the chat. Something to keep in mind. Back to the footage. So if you're wondering what just happened, that Wagner tank just hit a landmine, and they are assaulting this trench line here. I'm allowing all those comments. Yes, we do, Josh. Yep. What's up, Eagle Spurch? Yeah, so that mine detracked that tank. I mean, these are Wagner tanks assaulting this Ukrainian trench line here. Still see mobile Ukrainians walking around in there. What brand of tanks is Wagner fielding? T-Series. Because there are very blurry lines between Wagner and Russian, military. Very blurry lines. Play some music? All right. Matthew, thanks for the 7 months. All right. Bringing this back up. All right, we're gonna how the turntables here. We're gonna change perspectives for a second, and we're gonna watch Ukrainian forces kind of driving headfirst into a defense in depth position that the Russians have set up. I mean, Josh's write-up on this is really, really, really good. I actually give you leave, and I'm going to paste this link in the chat. If you guys are if you ever want to go back and watch something that we cover, check the stream description, because I paste literally the sticky note that I'm going down right now into the chat. So Josh did a really excellent write-up on this, explaining defense in depth. But imagine onion layers of defensive positions, right? You've got your forwardmost defensive line, and then you've got, once they pass that line, you've got additional defensives that they've put in place. We're going to watch that happen to Ukrainian forces here. But his write-up, and Josh is kind of legendary for his write-ups. Go check that out and come on right back and tell me what you think about it. Coming up for you guys now. And I'll orient you to what's going on here. So you've got Ukrainian forces coming in towards the top of your screen here. Some kind of a column. Coming up, full screen. Where is this? This is somewhere in the east near Bakhmut. As they move further into that defense and death position, you saw them continuously getting hit in different locations. This one's actually my favorite that we have a license to play on the stream. I know everybody likes Hyperdrive, but State of Dystopia is the best. And I'm going to pause it so that I can play it later. This one's, I hope you're wearing your brown pants. A little bit interesting. So we've got Ukrainian soldiers really very narrowly avoiding death by mortar. Coming up for you right now. Full screen.
Ебать тут мин.
Бля, нахуй пошли.
He's got brown pants on. One more again. My lord, I'm going to let your comments show. Why is this guy Cringe Lord? Some of us are born with it, some of us have to consult Maybelline. But I work really hard at being a Cringe Lord. Alright, coming up. Alright, this next one, discretion is advised. People die in it. We're going to watch a Russian assault ending in people dying near Pavlika. You've been warned. I've done my job. And this one's a nasty watch. Discretion advised. Copyright music, so we're going to play State of Dystopia again. These are Russian vehicles. All right, that's it. Coming back up. I'll give you guys a link to that one in case you want to go watch that for yourself. There you go. I need to check in on the support that's coming in. Thank you guys so much for it. Matthew, thanks for the $10. Cybersecurity Declassified, thanks for the $4.99. Thanks for swinging by the other stream this morning. Yesterday, was that it's Groundhog Day? But thanks, I appreciate that very much. Julian, thanks for the $10 from Australia. Thanks for that. Red Sea Dale, thanks for the $5. And Lance, thanks again for becoming a member. Guys, if you're considering becoming a member over here, give the pinned comment a look. Consider going to our app and to our website, funker530.com, where you can, get yourself a premium ad-free account. Gives you all kinds of perks in the chat as well. We're trying to migrate a lot over to that, and maybe eventually even this show, if we end up having to. Here, we're playing by YouTube's rules, more or less. It's their platform, and we do our very best while still trying to show you the footage as raw as possible that's happening around the world. We're going to see footage of Kurds we're gonna tonight later on, we're gonna see footage. I believe I have some stuff from. Yeah, we're gonna watch some Vietnam footage tonight. So we cover war and use of force across just about every spectrum, every country, every theater that you can imagine. Now, we recently launched that premium account because we're an extremely small team and we're trying to break away from social media reliance. So if you guys are users of the app, even if you're not a user of the app and you're a user of the website and you'd like an ad-free experience and you'd like 100% of that support to go to us rather than 30% to Google or 30% to, you know, some other big tech company that doesn't need it, consider a premium account. Check the stream description, check the pinned comment. It'll give you a direct link over there and it's going to be super easy. All right, let's move on. Just waking up in Australia. Best way to get the day going is some funker. I love it, mate. Keep it going. Hell yeah. Mimsy, thanks for the $10 from Australia. I want to turn the music back up. And we're going to hang out in the chat for a little bit before we move forward. And I'm going to replay State of Dystopia. All supporters and defenders of Ukraine. And what's up, everybody? Do me a favor, hit the like button. Drop in the chat. Let me know that you're here. It's the easiest way to support us. Not everybody's in a monetary situation to support us, and that's okay. The ultimate and fastest way to support us is to hit the like button. Let us know you're in the chat. If you're a veteran, I love reading the comments, hearing about your stories. Funker530 was actually started to share, and we continue to do that with our submissions that come in. Veteran stories from around the world. You know, we've been around since 2014. We are not one of those. We are not a channel that was stood up specifically for the war in Ukraine. We've been here for a long time. Wonder what kangaroo tastes like. I don't know, but I'd eat it. Let's move on to the next one. Turn this down a little bit. We've got a platoon-sized Russian element receiving, or excuse me, we've got a Russian tank patrol. We'll get to the platoon-sized element here in a minute. Getting slapped around by anti-tank fire. Coming up for you guys right now. Yeah, we're gonna play our music instead. 9 months. That's like a whole baby. Fizzy, thanks very much for the 9 months. Ronnie, what's your favorite whiskey? Baby Skin, that's going to be Blanton's, boss. Ronnie Fitz, say judicial branch without sounding drunk. Okay? Say no to Blanton's, the bourbon wrench. I feel like you're going to tell me what I should like, and I'm all about it. I'm going to pause that. And we're going to jump into our next one. We've got a Russian patrol. Oops, Control Z. Ooh. Here we go. So we've got a platoon-sized element of Russian Marines receiving artillery fire here. And this is, once again, near Pavlika, which is in the east. Video's coming up for you. Bitrate's a little bit low on this one, so you've been warned. Nope. Yep. 7 months, Dragons of the Sky. Thanks very much. All right, one more time just to catch that. The guy in the back here is lucky he was on profile or something. Right there. There's a dude way in the back. All right, let's bring that music back down. Next one. I don't know. So something that I don't talk often about is, you know, I'm a tactician. There are certain moves that are really difficult to explain simply, and there's a very, very special, you know, tactical move that when it goes bad, goes really bad. This is what happened, and again, I don't have a lot of time to explain this. This is what happens when the circle jerk goes wrong. What are they doing? Circling the wagons? What's that? I don't know. All right. Moving on to our next one. So we've got Lancet loiter munitions impacting Ukrainian anti-air M1 systems. We're going to watch this Lancet, and let's pull up a picture of the Lancet, just so you can see that. To the Google. I hate that all other search engines are garbage. Lancet loitering. I actually had a picture of this earlier that I wanted to use, but forgot to copy pasta it. Copy image link. There we go. Boom. This is the Lancet. Skynet looking deal. And we're about to watch that hit this Ukrainian M1 air defense system. My head already looks weird, Faust. I'm allowing that comment, Sorvik. Spicy sex toy. Stop it. Get help. All right, we're getting ready to jump into our unknown location footage. So, again, where we were just focused on is the east, Kharkiv, Bakhmut area. I'll give you a little bit more help with those locations. So we talked about Bakhmut. Button. Who's got the button? There it is. So, starting out at the top here, Ukraine, as we scroll in Bakhmut here. Very heavy from an activity perspective. That's where we've spent a lot of our time. But another very heavy location for fighting is the Svatova, Severodonetsk, or Kremina line. Kremina is a better way of putting that. Yellow areas are areas that Russia has claimed control. Blue areas are claimed Ukrainian counteroffensives. Okay, coming back up. But this next section is stuff that we don't have locations for. So the very first thing, if you were to go and I think, Google testicular fortitude. There would be a video. And when you played that video, this is what would come up. This is a Russian tank that you've got here. And a Ukrainian steps out to touch him in the butt with a rocket. I'm not yet caught up. Did Russia declare they annexed Paris yet? That's expected next week. Yeah. When the in-laws stop by unannounced. Just in case you didn't catch that. Now, something that's pertinent to talk about here. TTPs are something that I spent a lot of my career focused very intently on. Tactics, techniques, and procedures. Right? I'm not saying I'm a tactics guy. I'm not. I'm a nerd sitting here staring at a video screen. But TTPs and how to impact those or change those. Russia, from a doctrine perspective, historically has been unbuttoned. They're tankers. They would be unbuttoned, leaning out of their hatches. Well, with drone warfare doing what it has been, essentially being able to hit top down on just about anything at almost any time, we're now seeing a lot of footage of Russia riding buttoned up, i.e. inside the hatch. The rear of the tank, most of you guys should know this. Video games, Fury, the movie, just about every tank movie talks about how the rear of the tank is one of the most vulnerable areas. Because Russia is now driving buttoned up in what would theoretically be considered aging T-series tanks, their ability from a situational awareness perspective, it has decreased a lot. And I think it's this video analysis that Josh posits that as well. Something that I wanted to mention there. Right, because you start to wonder, how can homie roll right up and touch him in the butt and really not have any consequence? Now, something that's key to point out here is this turret starts turning right before he gets hit. So what I'm wondering is this second Vic here, this second tank at the top, maybe over comms or something. Hey, you've got a dude trying to touch your butt. And he goes to turn around like, hey, don't do that. And then suddenly the in-laws get a two-cheek slap there. I don't know. All right, let's move on. All right, we're going to see the luckiest Russian ever. And if he's not the luckiest Russian ever, he's at least a two-time hot potato champion. He survives. Two-time. This is the real two-time. Let's start this one over. All right, so just in case you're trying to figure out what the hell you just watched. So this first one's a dud. This is a Russian. We're obviously looking through a Ukrainian lens right now at a Russian. This first one's a dud. Lands in the small of his back. Would have absolutely killed him. There's a possibility that he's already injured here. He's not moving far, not moving fast. But he does get off that X for a short minute. This one lands and it's not a dud, but it doesn't explode on impact, giving him time to throw it. He probably caught some primary fragmentation here if whatever modified round that was has primary fragmentation built into it, right? So there's a difference between primary and secondary fragmentation. Primary fragmentation is like a frag grenade. You'll have bits of metal on a claymore. You'll have ball bearings, suicide vest, screws, ball bearings, etc. Things that are designed to fragment and create a kill radius. Then you have secondary fragmentation. Secondary fragmentation is stuff that's kicked up by the blast itself. So everything from bone to rocks, sticks, a flying stick moving fast enough is very dangerous. You ever see like hurricanes? You've got 2x4s that impale whole houses. That's secondary fragmentation. So one way or another, he took some fragmentation from this. Shrapnel is actually a slang term. He was a dude that invented one of the first exploding shells. But what you're really talking about is fragmentation or frag. So he took frag from this, from that second one, and maybe some from this third one as well. But note, he's not moving. But my understanding of what was reported is that he does survive this. For how long, I'm not sure. All right, coming up. Still spreading Western propaganda? No, only when I'm paid by the CIA, man. And I'm still waiting on the first check. So, yeah, if that's you, do you think I passed along my direct deposit? Do you think that could be sent sometime? Because, well, I mean, it's been a lot of months now, and I still haven't been paid. All right, so we're going to watch some... This is Ukraine perspective footage, but they almost get their heads taken off by small arms fire. It's coming up for you guys now once I figure out buttons and stuff. Excellent. Perfect. There you go. Hear that whistle? These are Ukrainian drone operators. That's feet. All right. Coming up. Let me check in on this support. Thanks again for it, guys. Just huge, and we appreciate it. T. Sorvik, thanks for the $5. At this point, I'm willing to bet any neckbeards from War Thunder would make more effective tankers than these Russians. You remind me of the DCS folks that get on the website. And Funker himself is a massive DCS fan, so please don't take this the wrong way. But every time we post some jet footage, somebody out there has something to say about it. So thanks very much for the 5. Real Caliber Colt, thanks for the 10. That feeling you get when the DFAC is out of Rippets. Oh, God. I didn't know that Rippets were like mainstream now. I was in a Dollar General the other day. It's where I get my clothes. And they had Rippets on the shelf, and I grabbed a small little 6-pack of them, and I was like, man, I'm really excited about this. These were the best things ever. And they're absolutely ass when they're not the only thing that you can have. They're terrible. I don't know when the last time you had a Rippet was, but if you're not, something about Rippets in Afghanistan made them a lot better. Let's just put it that way. Jose, thanks for the $10. Rob, thanks for the 19 months, man. Holy shit. That's a long time. Gary, Jeanette, Riemann, thank you for the 9 months and 10 months. Dakota, thanks for the 9 months. Ejiboa, thanks for the 8 months. Zen, thank you for the 3 months. Vlad, thanks for the $10. Matthew, thank you for the 20. And Julian, thanks for the 10. I need to check these off. Otherwise, I'll forget that I said thank you for them. Here's your CIA propaganda check in Dollaroos. Julian, thanks for the 10. We did agree that it was only going to be at $2.50, so I appreciate the raise. Thanks for that. I'm cheap. I'm a cheap date. All right. next step, Russia's recruiting CSGO players. Thanks for the $2. All right, so this is actually a first for me. We see a lot of tank footage. You know, both Ukraine and Russia show a lot of GoPro mounted type tank footage, or now drone footage of tanks kind of firing indiscriminately into general locations. But very rarely do we see a tank on tank battle when you can spit on the other tank. Now, I don't know which tank is which. If you guys have any information on this one, or if you've seen analysis on Twitter or, I don't know, some other message boards or something, let me know in the chat. We're going to watch this one. We're going to scroll through it a couple times because this is one of those relative firsts. And I say relative because, you know, I'm sure it's not the first recorded tank-on-tank explosion. But, I mean, these folks are in spitting distance to each other. Check this out. And I'll break it down for you as we start. So before I get going here, you've got tanks up at the top. And that tank at the top is going to be moving, you know, southward on the screen until he's eventually ambushed by a tank near the bottom. There is no sound to this one. So you just saw that tank near the bottom for a split second. He's hiding in some concealment right now. Now, note the orientation of the main gun here. The main gun is pointed out across this open terrain rather than into this, you know, more thick tree line here. But the main gun is actually pointed out to the right, out here. Now, again, there is a lot. Let me cover something. There are a lot of people that are going to say, that one's Ukrainian and that one's Russian. The original source for this was just the video, right? It's been posted by both Ukrainians and Russians. I have no idea which one is which. No idea. All right. Here we go. We're going to slow this down to quarter speed. Note the patience here. Now, I don't know if this tank at the bottom is communicating with the drone operator to, hey, not yet, not yet, not yet, whites of their eyes kind of deal. But that main gun never gets turned around. Main gun still pointed out here. And we're going to put it back to normal play speed. I see a lot of comments saying this is blue on blue. So Russia on Russia, is that what you're saying? Homie here jumps out of the tank. He's alive, but he had a bad day. He's smoking. And the other tank just unasked at that location. Both are Russians. Interesting. Let's run that one more time. Back to the hit. Oh, wow. All right, bringing it back up. Yeah, so I have not seen something that can definitively say one way or another. I see that it's, you know, Russian on Russian tanks. I get it, guys. You know, if you're already tracking what it is, awesome. You know, but That's not anything that I've come across. Now the last Ukraine video, we've got a banger coming up, so don't go anywhere just yet. Last Ukraine video I wanted to take a look at though, is a US M777 getting destroyed. Now, something that I wanted to note on this one is the M777 is a towed platform, right? It's not a self-mobile platform. You know, it doesn't drive. Okay, you've got other 155 systems from Western countries that are mobile. You know, they've got wheels and shit that go with them. You have to tow the 777. Keep that in mind. These are obviously Ukrainians firing that 777. Now, something of note here. This vehicle off to the left, that's the vehicle to tow that vehicle. So what this reads to me, what that tells me, is either the Ukrainians that were firing that artillery piece knew that they were about to be targeted by this Lancet munition, or they're practicing displacement from their artillery between fire missions. One way or another, they kept themselves alive here, and this Lancet only ends up destroying the gun. Guns can be replaced. Look at that stack of spent rounds, no shoot and scoot training. To be honest with you, we did a whole video on this. They were actually very effective at shooting and scooting. At least they were earlier in the war. Earlier in the war, when they had much less equipment to deal with, they were taking their D-30s, they were putting them on the ground, firing a couple rounds, in a very displaced fashion relative to batteries, right? When you think of artillery, you think of in Civil War, rows of cannons. It's still technically done that way by doctrine in most cases. Russia still does it that way. The U.S. still does it that way. We have batteries, battery fire, counter battery fire. But what Ukraine started doing, or at least early in the war, and this is evidence of them still continuing to technically do that, is almost guerrilla warfare style artillery. And what enabled them to do that was a system that you could only really equate to like an Uber or a Lyft that would assign fire missions to all of these geographically disparate or displaced artillery pieces, allow them to really all fire at once from many different angles rather than just in a battery. With this one, you might look at the pile of spent brass and think, they must have been there forever. They're firing a lot of shit, man. Like a lot at once. I'm not standing up from a capability perspective. I just happen to know, based on everything that's coming out, that they are sending a lot of rounds downrange. So that could be, I don't know, an hour. I don't know. I'm not an artillery guy. You guys tell me. All right, we're going to jump into a couple things here. The first one we're going to watch is coming out of Syria. This is relatively new. Near Idlib, the Syrian Arab Army, the Assad regime, dropped cluster munitions on a refugee camp, like I said, near Idlib. Reported that 77 were injured and 9 were killed in this. Let's take a look at this one. All right, coming back up. I wanted to, before I pulled away from the website, I wanted to make a note about the premium accounts, guys. again, thank you. I've got a message over there from Funker that I can't jump over there to see. I can probably pull it up here really quick. He's probably giving me some stats. Don't switch. Let me check some stats here. I want to shout out some names here for people that have signed up for the premium accounts on Funker530. Steven, Colton, Aaron, Jimmy, Eduardo, Ian, Sean, Andrew. Guys, thank you. This means the world to us that you guys have signed up for premium accounts on the app and on the website, because 100% of that goes back to us, right? This is the definitive way to support the Funker 530 team. The community is who we're looking to for that support now, because we're continuing to have problems across every social media site we try to apply our content for obvious reasons, right? Think of social media sites as less a way to connect with people, which was theoretically their original design, and more of a way to connect you with advertisers. Now, we have our own advertising partners. These are companies that we believe wholeheartedly in. I mean, big time. Armored Republic, any armor you could ever want. If you like ceramic armor, they've got it. If you like soft armor, they've got it. Polyethylene, steel, it doesn't matter. They've got it, and they have explanations for what kinds of armor are going to be best for what situations. Armor is always a trade-off, right? Weight versus protection, cost versus protection, cost versus weight, etc. ATN, huge partner of ours. Absolutely love what they're doing from a thermals perspective, from a night vision perspective, digital optics with capabilities like one-shot zeroing. You fire one round at a target, tell it, no, you're off zero, and it automatically corrects itself. These are amazing companies that we fully support. But we also realize that you guys might want an ad-free viewing experience, and you also might want a way to support us, a small team that doesn't go to Google, that doesn't go to Facebook. And this is the way to do that. Now, we're always going to be providing additional perks for the website and for the app. Right now, the perks list includes a golden halo around your name. You've got a pro badge that'll make you stand out in the crowd in the comments. And also, obviously, ad-free. Now, in the future, we're working with those same partners to get you the same discounts and even higher discounts that are going to be available only to our pro users. So thank you, guys. We couldn't have asked for a better launch to this. We've got a few more videos that I wanted to look at here, but Josh would not let me go. And even though it's not today, the week of the Marine Corps birthday, the Marine Corps birthday, is like a sacred time for these dudes and dudettes. Josh would not let me go without saying happy birthday to the Marines. We're going to watch the Marine Corps birthday message, but I also want to take a look at some historical footage here from Vietnam of the 3rd Battalion, 5th Marines near Da Nang. This is amazing footage, guys. Check this out. In terms of footage, what has been the worst gore-wise? I've got two that come to mind. One is very recent, and that was the Ukrainian getting his balls cut off. That one sucked. It sucked to watch just as a guy, and it sucked to watch just as a human being. The other one was from the Syrian civil war. There was a video that was released that showed I want to say she was 11 or 12. My daughter was 8 or 9 at the time. That showed indirect artillery landing right on top of her position. It blew her leg off. She was like crawling to find help. There was another one of a young boy. Actually, I think it was the same one. Yeah, it was the same one. They were all inside a store. Those were really tough to watch. Happy birthday, Marnies. Even though the birthday isn't until the 10th, I want to get it out of the way now. Josh is still screaming yut over there or something. I don't know, kill. Who the F knowingly watches that stuff? We do. We do. Castration video was just a snuff film. No one should have to see that. That's why we didn't post it. But we watch that stuff to see whether or not it's got context, it's got relative importance from a footage perspective. Because we've been doing this now, for, I don't know, what's 2014 to now? Or no, what's 2007 to now, actually, excuse me. That's how long the Funker platform has been around. We're coming up on 20 years, once we hit 2027. And it's important for us that people see straight down the middle. Right now, oftentimes on mainstream media, you're going to catch some of this stuff, and it's going to be a 10-second clip here or a 15-second clip there with some kind of a media spin on it. We post it raw, and the only time we edit it is for I don't know, like a kid's leg blown off or something that doesn't provide the context necessary to understand the use of force in the first place. And I use that term a lot, use of force, right? Because that's what you're ultimately looking at here. Whether we're posting police footage or we're posting combat footage, you're looking at use of force, defensive force, offensive force, and people need to better understand what that conflict, and I don't mean war, I just mean what the interpersonal conflict looks like. There's a very personal level to war that is not understood without truly seeing it, and even seeing it on video, we're looking at it in a 2-dimension, or in only 2 dimensions. So it still doesn't do it wholly justice, right? But we watch that stuff. Every day is a question mark. Should we post this or should we not? Should we post this edited or should we not? We're not a gore site. That's not what we do, right? If you want gore, go to I don't know if Best Gore is still around. Go over there, right? Or go to Live Leak. You see what happened to Live Leak? They're not even around anymore. It's like Item Fix or something. I don't mean to call them out, but it turned into gore. And that's not what we do. We document war. All right, I gotta make sure and just do one more time to show you guys how to sign up for premium. I know I meant to do this, but I kind of got into this rabbit hole, so we're gonna do that really quick. I'm gonna put myself in the low right. Log into your account. Excuse me, sorry. And then go to your profile, and right here at the top, Funker 530 Premium. Alternatively, you could just click on the link at the top. Move your subscription here off of YouTube over to Funker 530, where 100% of that's going to go back to us, and we can use that to continue developing the platform, to continue growing. Look at all the things that we've launched this year. We've launched the live show, we've launched the edited show, we launched the new app update, and that's because you guys continue to support us. So thank you for that. That's going to be it for me tonight, though. I hope you guys enjoyed the stream tonight. I hope you feel a little bit more informed about what's happening around the world. I'm Ronnie. You guys can stick around and come hang out with me for a little bit. We'll have a beer. We'll kick back. Maybe we'll play some video games if we get there. And at the latest, if you don't end up on the other stream, and it's going to automatically redirect you guys over there, at the very latest, we will see you Wednesday at 6 o'clock Eastern Standard right here. And before I go, Richard, thank you for the 223. Julian, thank you for the 640. Thank you for the support. I'm out of here. Stay informed.